Welcome to session 4 for Philosophy of Education. Thank you guys so much for turning in your week 3 stuff. The interviews I'm hoping to have done by tomorrow, but I hope you're starting to see that specifically that we are moving towards a different place now. We're moving into now the newer philosophies, but more importantly, we're now moving to a place where we can start seeing our own philosophy in context of other people's and how without having a fundamental philosophy behind it, with a lot of people who've never thought about what the purpose of education and those things are. Um, a lot of it has to go with kind of that picking up piece here or there and not really actually thinking of an entire full composition of a philosophy. Just love this quote. Thought we'd start out with something a little bit uplifting. You can't walk on water if you don't get out of the boat. So a lot of the times in this class, a lot of times we have to push ourselves, or even in education we have to push ourselves. And this is when God called Peter to get out of the boat. There was a big storm, and Peter saw Jesus out in the water, and he was standing there and he said, "Peter, walk with me." And he took a few steps and then he faltered, and Jesus can't save him. But the big piece is that he couldn't have done it unless he got out of the boat. And so when we're in education, we can't change anything unless we start to actually take those steps towards it. Today for show and tell, I brought my tiny marvel of nature, a single snowflake. I think we might all learn a lesson from how this utterly unique and exquisite crystal turns into an ordinary, boring molecule of water, just like every other one when you bring it into the classroom. And now, while the analogy sinks in, I'll be leaving you drips and going outside. Um, And so we take a look at that. Are we trying to create one person? Those were the philosophies we had last time. And this time we're actually going to be kind of shifting to philosophies that look at truth in a multitude of ways, a little bit less defined truth. And so really not trying to create one thing, not trying to create a drip, but really trying to create unique individual things. When we start out mission statement review, I want you to kind of think back to what we've done beforehand. And the big one I always go to is that PLNU one. How is this one different than the PLNU one? UC San Diego transformed California, diverse global society by educating, generating, and disseminating knowledge and creative works and engaging in public service. The biggest one that thing we notice in between these two is one is that the Point Loma one is about creating community and students and really serving people. This one has no reference of students in any way. There's no reference of students in it by educating, generating, disseminating knowledge. What? There's no talk about students. It's a university that's meant to help serve the public good. And in that it is completely worthwhile, but it's so different than that piece from Point Loma. A lot of times when we start to do this in class discussion, it starts out with, oh look, there's religious bent versus non-religious bent, more of a idealistic versus pragmatic. But then we transform into what is the purpose of it? And the purpose of it is actually more of how do we help society in this one instead of PLNU, which is how do we create community and drive the gospel and drive the knowledge into you. And so it's such a different way of looking at things. So our agenda, we're going to do Time Out Where I Should Be, which is a piece that's already in there. History of Education 1, History of Education 2. We're going to do the modern philosophies and the case study Tyson versus Manny. For Education Part 1 Part 2, you're going to do a just review through the PowerPoints, and that should cover you with that. In the midterm, there's no real direct questions about those two, but it does provide a nice context. Chapter 4, the modern philosophies, I will do a screencast for and get you on your way with that one. Just a few questions about the Symphony Educator Report. Just a few tweaks there. One is that you're going to be doing it by yourself. You're going to choose an educator, and please put that into your weekly participation. Just add that name in there. And I need each of you to tape it. You could do a screencast. You could have somebody literally just videotape you with the cell phone talking and doing that thing and upload that to Canvas. But whatever it is, I would love you to be able to present it and then upload it to Canvas. If you fundamentally just can't do that and you think it's so overwhelming, I will, if I get anyone who puts it in there, put one time up I'll reserve some time at the Mission Valley campus. I'll put a time up, a sign up sheet up, and you can come sign up and we'll just do it there. But again, I would really prefer it if you just try to figure out how to do a screencast or try to figure out how to do Just record it on your phone, you talking maybe with your computer, those types of things. If you need help, that's what we have those IT departments for at PLNU, and somebody should be there to do that. If this is something that you think you need to explore further, I also teach a course, online course on educational technology, and so we can talk about how to use these tools in there as well. So let me know. If you need help, also, I'm more than willing to help walk you through how to get these things done. Please look at the assignment description for more information. But really, the key here is you're picking someone who you think you can agree with, that you can start aligning and looking at your philosophy compared to theirs. Tonight, we're going to get two more philosophies in, and the next week, we're going to get a few more philosophies in. But as soon as you get that educator, just let me know. Finally, on work participation, we've got the end of chapter 4 questions, our case study, and then including your name. It's a fairly simple one moving forward right here, but I think with the amount of work we had last week, with the interview and with the chapter questions and the two different uh, case studies, I think we're doing pretty well. So that's good for this week, and next week we'll be going over the midterm and then starting to look a lot more at that final paper as well.